You ever have that feeling where the nicer you are, the more people just expect from you? It's a really tricky line to walk, right? That little space between being genuinely helpful and suddenly feeling like you're being taken for granted. Well, we're going to explore that exact idea today through a really simple but, wow, powerful fable that gets right to the heart of it. So let's start with this question, because I think it hits close to home for a lot of us. When you're the person who is always there, do people really value you, or are they just kind of draining you? You start off being the reliable friend, the dependable person at work, and it feels great at first. You feel appreciated. But then slowly, that appreciation starts to feel more like an expectation. And that's the real problem we're digging into. And this is where it gets really subtle, that shift from being valued to being used. I mean, look at the difference here. When you're valued, your effort is appreciated. Your well-being actually matters to the other person. It's a two-way street. But on the other side, your availability just becomes an expectation. The only thing that matters is getting the task done. It turns into a one-way demand. And guess who's at the end of that street? You. To really get a handle on how this all plays out, let's turn to a story. It's a simple fable about a donkey living in this beautiful valley, and he was known for one thing in particular. He was the go-to guy. I mean, literally. Whenever anybody needed help, anytime there was a heavy load that needed carrying, all eyes just naturally turned to him. He was reliable, responsible, and honestly, his whole identity was wrapped up in being helpful. And this quote right here, this really gets to the why of it all. At first, praise was his fuel. When people called him strong or dependable, those weren't just nice words. They were proof that he was worth something. Each compliment was like a shiny medal, reassuring him that he mattered. But as time went on, the whole dynamic of helping started to change. It happened slowly, almost so you wouldn't notice it. And the very thing that made him feel so valued started to come with a hidden price tag. And you can see the progression right here. It started out politely, right? People would ask for help. But pretty soon, that asking turned into telling. And then finally, it just became an assumption. People didn't even bother asking anymore, because why would they? They just knew he'd do it. His kindness had basically become his obligation. This is such a powerful way to put it. All that praise he loved so much, it was like it unlocked a door to his time and his energy. But the problem was, he never figured out how to close that door again. He got scared that if he ever said no, the praise would just stop. So he kept that door wide open, trapped by his own need to feel validated. And here's where it gets really lonely. The genuine thank yous started to fade away. They were replaced by these robotic, automatic ones. People would get what they needed from him, and then boom, they were gone. He was constantly surrounded by creatures who relied on him, but he had never felt more alone. Well, you know where this is going. This endless cycle of giving and giving and giving, with nothing coming back in, it could only end one way. The donkey was heading straight for a total and complete breakdown. And it wasn't a choice. It wasn't like he decided to stop. His body literally made the decision for him. It was a scorching hot day. He was carrying yet another heavy load, and his body just said, nope, done. He completely shut down. Now get this. The reaction from the onlookers is, honestly, it's chilling. In the very moment he collapses, nobody runs over to see if he's okay. The first thought, the only concern someone mutters, is about the work being late. It just lays it all bare. In their eyes, his only value was in what he could do for them. And this is the real core of it. This wasn't just about being physically tired. No, it was way deeper than that. He had given away so many pieces of himself for so long that there was just nothing left inside. He was totally, completely empty. So, as the donkey is lying there, just completely defeated, a wise old tortoise comes along, and he offers a piece of wisdom that is about to change everything. Let's just sit with that for a second. An open vessel is always filled. What the tortoise is saying is, if you just leave yourself wide open all the time, people will keep pouring their demands, their needs, their stuff into you, even when you're already overflowing, even when you have nothing left to give. It's such a simple idea, but man, is it profound. And here it is, the whole lesson boiled down into one powerful equation. The tortoise taught him that kindness, when it isn't balanced with self-respect, with boundaries, well, it stops being a virtue. It actually becomes a form of self-harm. So, armed with this totally new way of thinking, the donkey starts this really difficult but really necessary journey. He starts to learn the power of saying no. This is where he begins to get his life back. And that first time, wow, you can imagine how terrifying that must have been. His heart was probably pounding out of his chest. He was expecting them to get angry, to be disappointed, maybe even to just abandon him. But you know what happened? Nothing. The deer was a little surprised, sure, but then it just picked up its own stuff and moved on. The world didn't end. And then this amazing thing started to happen. Every time he said no, it wasn't an act of being mean, it was an act of self-preservation. With every single boundary he put up, a little more of that crushing weight lifted off his shoulders. He was finally getting his energy back, his time back, and most importantly, his own peace of mind.
So this entire journey brings the donkey and us to a totally new understanding, a much healthier definition of what it really means to be kind.
So, what are the big takeaways from all this? First, setting boundaries isn't selfish, it's just plain wisdom. Second, and this one's huge, your constant availability teaches people what to expect from you, not how to respect you. Then there's the idea of the vessel. You can only share what you have. An empty cup can't pour for anyone else. And finally, real help, true kindness, comes from a place of choice, not a sense of obligation. And that brings us right back to the beginning, with a final question for you to think about. That door to your time, your energy, your help, does it open and close on your terms? Or, like the donkey, has all the praise and the need to please left it stuck wide open for anyone to just walk through? It's definitely something worth thinking about.